to the world. Subscribe now to the Hot 97 YouTube channel. It's Ebro in the Morning with Laura Stiles and Rosenberg.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the legend, Damon Wayans, on the program. What's happening, sir?
What's happening? I'm loving life. A little early, you know. It's 6 a.m. my time, but it's all good. I'm happy to be here with y'all.
Well, they say when you get older, you wake up. And I mean, when you got gray in your beard like that, you're supposed to wake up at like 4 in the morning or something.
Oh, well, listen to this. You said what?
I said when you get gray in your beard like that, you're supposed to wake up at like 4 in the morning.
Yeah, that's when you got problems. You wake up.
Yeah, when you're doing good, you could just keep sleeping.
Yeah, you just sleep through it, you know.
Speaking of which, if you want to see Damon, this week at Caroline's, 5 shows starting Thursday at 7 o'clock, Friday there at 2, Saturday at 2. You could see Damon Wayans in person. How you been, Ben? What you been working on?
My sanity, you know, everybody's been dealing with, you know, this kind of like mental health, trying to keep it you know, from going on. It's easy to snap nowadays, but and, you know, and raising kids and grandkids and stuff like that. So, you know, life is wonderful. It's all perspective, you know.
What when you hit that stage now, you know, do you still get that? Is it still that that I guess I don't know what that
love,
passion, that love, that you know, do you still get to light up? Is that still your original love?
Listen, I'm better than I've ever been on stage. Because, you know, I got 40 years of experience. So I work smarter, not harder. And I'm just having this really great conversation with the audience. I'm not trying to make you believe anything I say, but I don't understand nothing. So we're going to figure it out together. And the audience is just loving it. I'm like I said, I'm better than I was back in the day.
Go ahead, Rosenberg.
I was going to say, it's just such a crazy thing, Damon. Like, you know, until you start getting older, you don't really appreciate the phrase, you know, youth is wasted on the young. You know, like we get so much better. Say it again.
The youth is wasted on the young and Marlon.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And Marlon somehow gets all of it. But it is crazy because, you know, by the time you start getting really good, especially like in our field in radio, when you finally start getting good, people start being like, hey, man, time to get up out of there and bring some new blood. You're like, I just figured this out. I just got good yesterday. Is it crazy for you to see how, like, has the game slowed down for you at 61, where the calm when you're on stage, the presence, the being present, has it all just gotten easier?
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's just, you know, stand up is really about logging stage time, right? And the more you do it, the better you get. You know, it's like being in the booth. You know, you can stay out all night and come in and do what you got to do just because you know how you've been there before. You've been drunk, you've been hungover. You know, you had the tranny in your bed, and you know how to
wait. Excuse me.
Oh wait, what? Wait, hold
okay.
on. You was following for a second, right? No, but you just experience gets you through everything. You know what I mean? I'm not, you know, I'm not shocked by anything. I just learned how to have a conversation. You know, I was nervous at first coming back doing stand-up because they tell you can't say, man, you got to be careful. But that's not the truth. People want to laugh. It's on me to teach you how to laugh.
That's very interesting. I think about that with DJs too, Dame. Like, you know, a lot of DJs out here complain about people being on their phones and not paying attention in the club and all of this. But it's like, okay, but are you playing the records to make them want to put their phone down and get to dancing?
That's what I'm saying. Play the hits.
Yeah, you got to play them ones.
They came to dance. They paid their money to dance. That's the same thing with comedy. They paid their money. They there. They dressed up. They dealt with traffic. They there. Now you got to take them there.
When you look back at your career, in the spotlight, on the stage, on television, you were talking about mental health a second ago, but how do you reconcile some of the tougher moments that you've been through just in being a professional at this?
I have diabetes. I had brain surgery. I was born with a club foot. Life threw me a bunch of curveballs, and I just was able to rise above it. It's all fuel and fodder for being funny. And I don't really trip off of anything. You can't. I accept everything.
Mm.
I accept. That's the trick in life. The stress you have is when you trying to make someone do something that they don't want to do. Like the hardest thing in the world to get an old black man to see a doctor. Am I lying?
Facts.
They'll sit
You're
there
not.
rather die than go see a doctor. I guarantee you, Mike Tyson never had a prostate exam, just because he don't want that on his resume. It's just something about black folks. My father told me he's 85 years old and not a good 85. I'm like, Pop, you gotta go to the doctor. He goes, nah, they're gonna put a camera in my ass. Like, what?
That's
maybe, but that's not what they do when you first walk in.
Right. We got to get an assessment first. Let's talk.
What are you afraid of?
Oh.
It's frustrating. And like I said, I got to meet people where they at. If that's how you gonna rock it, all right. I love you. I love you. I'm gonna go get my test.
Damon, how different, speaking of the Black American experience, how different has the experience been, do you think, for your son than it was for you? I mean, you got started in the mid 80s, and sometimes I look back, we acted as if things were progressive in this country in 1985. It wasn't. It really wasn't. We were so closely removed from just the darkest times. How different is your son's experience in the business?
I think he had it really tough because he was Damon Wayans Jr. And, like when he first started doing stand-up, he changed his name to Kyle Green. And he was opening for me. And he would go out on stage and people go, that's Damon's son. and he was just, it's like I set a bar, as a comedian and as a performer. And he had to, find his own bar. And it's been tough, but he was able to do it. And, now he's doing projects that aren't Wayans projects. I wish he would. I'm trying to get him to do a show with me. But, I have to respect his own hustle and his own journey because it was tough,
Oh, that's crazy to hear you say, I'm trying to get my son to do a show with me.
I can't make him.
That's right.
He got to wanna. He got to understand that it's going to be the best thing he ever did.
Have you?
No, because I know him. I know what's great about him. So far, he hasn't been able to show that. You know what I mean? Because he's doing, other people's stuff, which I respect, but that ain't the D I know.
Right. You know him, and you can bring out something else. You know him as somebody that's been there since day one.
Yeah.
That I could bring another layer to this.
Yeah,
you haven't tapped into yet.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's that, yo. Like that. That's that dad talk. That's that real life talk right there. When you see other comedians and the way comedians have to are using Instagram to start out and then using Instagram to go on tour, and then they get their mic time and their stage time and they start to develop their character and their time on stage, their set. Do you ever come across young comedians that have an opportunity to ask you for advice, and have you had a chance to talk to any of them?
I make it my mission when I work with people, cats like Mark Gregory, who I think is funny, who's the nephew of Dick Gregory. When I go on the road, I never tell them who I want to. I don't bring my openers. It's whoever the club, puts there, because I want to be challenged. When you bring your own people, you tell them, hey, don't do this joke because I'm going to do that. You know what I mean? You try to set it up and make it easy for you. I don't want it easy. If somebody go out there and destroy it before me, I gotta go to another level. So what I do is at the end of the week, especially because of COVID, I don't like hang out with the comedians in the green room and stuff. But afterwards, on the last night, I sit down and have a drink with them. And I'm telling you, ask me whatever question you want. I'm gonna turn you on to some books. I'm gonna tell you some do's and some don'ts, and I'm gonna help you out. The problem is I've been trying to, I give them my number if you need to call me, but they always call me and go, hey man, could you get me a job working? Like, that's that you're not taking advantage of what I'm giving you, what I'm offering you, a friendship and a mentorship. I don't want to be your booking agent,
Right.
you know, and just
That's
trying
real.
to teach that. But I understand it. You know, I'm from the projects. I understand, you know, trying to take advantage of opportunities, but that's not I offer you something better than that, than a gig.
Mm.
Damon, do you feel, obviously you've had an incredible career. You've had so success in so many different places, obviously from In Living Color to the movie, your own movies, you know, Mo Money, Last Boy Scout, the specials, you've done a ton. At the same time, I don't always feel you've gotten the props as a straight stand-up that you deserve. You're like the Still Standing special. You have a couple of specials from the 90s, Damon, that hold up against any of the best specials of the modern era. Do you feel that you get the props that you deserve? Or are you satisfied with where things are?
I'm satisfied because those that know. You know what I mean? Ask Chappelle about me. Ask Rock about me. You know, ask Murphy about me. They all know, you know, I'm the king of clubs. You know, there ain't been too many that have, and I got a catalog to prove it. My thing with stand-up, it's always been special to me, and I treat it as such. I don't do it to do specials. I do it because it's special and because I got something to say. And you know, if I throw away hours, I do them. I got them all on the catalog, but I don't feel the need to put it out. I feel the need to do it, to share it, you know. So
When you
I don't have any regrets because when the documentary come out, King of Clubs, you're gonna know.
that's official. That's an announcement. We should be
That's
paying
not
attention for this.
that's the tentative title to what I have, because like I said, I'd rather do the clubs than do the big theaters. It's just more
Right.
intimate, and I go home, I feel like I got it off my chest, and I'm good. That pressure of having to do 3 specials in a year, come on, you ain't nobody that funny.
Right.
I mean, listen, I'll be honest. After you had the hot tub scene with Halle Berry and Last Boy Scout, I really figure your life was good at this point moving forward. So I don't feel bad for you either way.
That's exactly where I was about to go, Rosenberg. I was going to say, after a career like yours and everything that you've done, including scenes with Halle Berry in a hot tub, when you look back at it, right, I'm sure there's some pure joy in just doing stand-up because you've been to the top. Like you did it all: sitcom, movie, stand-up, sketch. Yeah. I mean, you've done it all and hit a home run at every stop.
Well, I appreciate that. And I just feel, you know, for me, you know, titles, people try to put titles on you, you know, legend. They want you, you know, go to me when I'm dead and gone, then you could label me. But right now, I'm just a dude trying to do what I do at my best, you know, and enjoy it, love the game. You know, Michael Jordan had the love of the game clause, and that meant he could play basketball on during the off season, wherever he wanted, with whoever he wanted, because he knew that's going to be the best run. You know what I mean? For me, getting on stage in a comedy club, you know, after not doing it for 3 years and knowing what I got to go through, because you can't cheat the process with stand up. You got to go and hang out in clubs. You're not funny until you get funny. It's just that simple. You just got to log that stage time. And then one day it just clicks. And there ain't too many cats that can follow me. I'm just saying that. I know.
And now, Damon, you have a lot of characters, sketches, things you were famous for that we know would not fly in 2022. There's a lot of conversation around comedians being concerned about being quote unquote canceled, getting in trouble, not being able to do their craft. How do you feel about that? And do you see it as a challenge to have to sort of adapt to where things are today and still be funny?
I'm like Floyd Mayweather. I don't change what I do. I don't change what I do. I do what I do, and I do it better than anybody else to do it. So for me, when you start talking about getting canceled, is you haven't learned to communicate to the audience what they need to hear in order to support what you are trying to say. Like I said, it's never the audience. They paid the price. They there to see you. They there to be entertained. You know, they want their girl to smile. It's your job to do that. And it's like you gotta. That's what I'm saying about cheating the process. You can't, because you got to go up there and figure out how to talk to these people.
In
Did
a
you ever?
versus,
Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead, Laura. I'm sorry. Go
I'm
ahead.
just curious. Did you ever get any negative, like it's just negative, or any backlash from any of your characters?
Not the character. You know what happens? Listen, when I did Handyman, we had organizations, writing in to Living Color going, you shouldn't do that. Not handicapped people. The handicapped people come and
Gotcha.
sit up front in the audience. They want me to say something about them. Hey, what up? Sit down. That's the dude in the wheelchair. Sit
Hey,
down.
what up? Sit down.
It's like they want to. They got hopes and dreams and senses of humor. You don't think somebody with a leg 16 inches shorter than the other done heard every joke possible about it?
Yeah, from the at least from my experience and my friends in the LGBTQ community, they loved Men on Film.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they were.
So in Living Color, when we did Men On here in LA, they got a couple of gay clubs. One called the Revolver, and they used to have Men On night, where everybody in the club would dress up as Men on Film with the little hats, and they would laugh and love it. To this day, I get gay love, and it's all good. I ain't gonna apologize for that. That was gold at the time.
Who wins in a fight, Handyman or Blank Man?
That's tough.
That's tough.
Handyman. I think
Handyman got it.
You know what's funny? I should have done Blank Man as Handyman. If I would have done the exact same movie, it would have been huge. Because
why? And did you try, or you just didn't?
I wasn't thinking. I was full of myself at the time. I thought that the audience was gonna rock with me no matter what. And what I realized is, your perception of you is not the audience's perception of you. Your job is to give the audience what they want, not what you want. When you do art, when you take your own money and spend it, then you can do art. But when you taking somebody else's check and you are trying to bring your base audience to see you, you got to give them what they want, and they wanted to see Handyman.
I got to ask you, Damon, I'm curious for your thoughts. Obviously, there's been a good amount of conversation around Chappelle the last couple of years, and most recently he dropped this week. They came out with the Duke Ellington theater naming sort of speech that he gave, and in that speech, he challenged his contemporaries to come up with anything as good as his special, The Closer, and said he thinks it'll be decades before anything reaches the heights of The Closer. Just curious for your thoughts on that and your thoughts on The Closer itself and what Chappelle's specials have been like over the last few years.
As one of the greats, I in terms of what I'm doing right now, I listen, I love Chappelle, so I'm not going to really speak on it, but for him to, right now, can't nobody touch him because he's the one that's doing it, and they're filming everything he do right now and putting it out as a special. The thing is, you got to ask yourself as an artist, is it special? Or am I just, or are they taking advantage of me because I'm special? So like I said, I haven't watched the new, the speech. If you're going to put a speech up as a speech, don't blur the lines.
Right. It's a little confusing.
Is this a special or this a speech? And right now, I think they're blurring the lines. There's no doubt that Dave Chappelle is the comedian of our generation. I say that. He's braver than I am right now. I wouldn't say he's braver than I've ever been because, in Living Color, with kind of speaks to my fearlessness. However,
boundary pushing.
Right.
Yeah. However, I just like I said, Dave Chappelle, I totally respect him, and he weathered a very difficult storm. and came out on the other side smiling, and I'm happy for him. So, but y'all come see me, and then y'all, let the audience decide, what greatness is.
I think you even didn't you challenge Dave to a Verzuz a little bit ago, like a.
Here, I was joking. I was on a radio show, and they asked me, and I didn't even. I was like, have they ever done it with comedians? And they go, "Who would you do?" I said, Chappelle, because I respect him, and I think he's the comedian of the generation. However, that's how I view myself. I'm great.
Right.
I'm, if I would have said,
Right.
Bubba, whatever his name is, Cool Bubba Ice, what did I think about my stand-up?
Right.
So I put me in the category with the greats.
As you should. So
that's a compliment to Chappelle. But if you sit down and ask Chappelle about me, he'll tell you.
When you look back on character development and all of the characters that you've created, I just for I'm sure there's a young comedian watching this or somebody who wants to get into comedy, and the difference between stand-up, writing, character development, like these are different disciplines. Some people have them all. Like you've been able to do a lot of things that not all comedians can do, like developing a character and still delivering on that and acting the character, because there's some people who come up with characters but they can't deliver it on stage or on camera.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about those disciplines and maybe a little bit of insight on the path that you took to figure it out.
Well, I had the blessing of having a big brother who was a director. So, he helped me tremendously, Keenan, in terms of finding characters. And, the difference between doing stand-up is you solo and you and the audience. When you're doing characters, you're in a scene with someone else and you have to learn how to play those moments. It ain't about you. It's about like making sure that the scene works, because you look stupid if you're trying to like steal a scene. That's not it's a give and take, and if you're good at what you do do a lot more taking than giving, what I mean. But it's really about making the scene work. That's the discipline. Make the scene work and escalate the scene. But as a stand-up, it's like you write, produce, direct, and star in this thing, and it's on you to make decisions and understand that your audience, when they groan, it's because of you, something you said. It ain't them. You got to learn how to communicate it to them.
Do you ever get go ahead.
It's just a laugh waiting to happen.
A groan is just a laugh waiting to happen.
Yeah. It's like a fart,
because they're already open a little bit, right?
Prelude. It's the prelude. Yeah, that's
talk about the great Paul Mooney influenced the generation as a writer, as a stand-up. I mean, one of the greats, and we recently lost him. I would love to hear your insight on the great Paul Mooney, just as what he was able to do on that stage. Another person who came with characters and worked in many ways behind the scenes as well, help other comedians be great.
Mooney was genius, and Mooney was a one of a kind. There were many stars, but there was only one Mooney. And the brilliance of Paul Mooney is he didn't care, and he kind of accepted that I'm not gonna make it as an actor. He wasn't really that good. He wasn't great in sketch, but on stage with a mic, he was untouchable, especially with his point of view about race. You can't touch it. You're a fool if you try to touch what Paul is, his thing. He owned that, and he was one of the hardest acts to follow, especially as a black comedian. You go up on stage and he done said everything. There's nothing. All right, y'all. Like Paul said, that's you doing a lot of that. Like Paul said. So, I knew Paul as a friend. I knew Paul as a comedian, as a peer. And like I said, he was hands down the greatest at that, black, white perspective, race. He owned it.
You're hosting the Oscars, and and somebody gets angry in the crowd and is gonna walk up and put hands on you. Are you able to hold your composure the same way Chris Rock did?
Nah, we still be fighting. What's today? I beat up his wife. I'm beat up his kids. I don't get down like that. I actually have a bat on stage. This is in my rider. So, people think it's funny to come up on stage and they want to get a meme. We all gonna have a meme.
Oh my God.
I ain't lying. I'm telling you. I don't, you don't slap me for telling jokes. That's unacceptable. And the thing is, Will, I love him, but he was, the happy-go-lucky Negro before the slap, and nobody saw that coming, which was weird. And I said, like, 50 Cent have been going ham on Jada with the entanglements. He didn't slap 50 Cent. He slapped 50 pounds, because Chris Rock can't defend himself. His hands don't even make fists. You ever see the little hands he got? He got like little back scratches. This nigga can't fight. It'd have been better if Jada would have hit him. At least it'd have been a fair fight.
Oh my God.
And my money's on Jada.
Oh man.
Why are you doing Chris like this? Why?
No, I love Chris, but he ain't.
But he's not a fighter.
No. And the fact that he took the punch and didn't fall says something about Will's slap ability.
Now, did you see it live or did you only catch it on the Instagrams and all afterward?
I caught it on Instagram. I thought it was actually like staged.
Yep.
Just because he went back and he kind of went, but then I played it back and he actually slapped his mustache off him. And I was like, oh no, that
that was real.
That was real.
I think Chris was confused too. I think Chris for a second thought he was doing improv. Because even after the hit, Chris was like, am I supposed to is this something I didn't know about? Should I keep smiling? And
he did look confused.
Everybody was confused.
Right.
Will was confused. I think Will was under a spell or something. Because he started out laughing and then Jada rang that bell. Ding, 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 ding. He got up, yabba, dabba, do, and just smacked this nigga mustache off his face. That was crazy.
Is that the craziest thing you've ever seen in comedy? Like as far as like a spectacle?
Yeah, and then with Dave Chappelle getting tackled, that was the second, and it's like, oh, this is how we doing it? That's how I keep that bat, that Louisville Sluggers in my contract.
Now they used to call him Damon Wayans. Now they call him Batman.
I love that. Yeah.
Now, are the rumors true that your son doesn't even need the bat? He might just hit someone with a straight up karate kick to the face.
Oh, Lil D he's like nice. I put him in mixed martial arts when he was a little boy. I want one to help him burn some energy. Him and his little brother, and they was with this dude named Mark Makita. Mark used to take them. And I didn't know this. He would take them to other places just to fight kids. They would go do street fights. Yeah, like street fights. And they would come home bruised up and they go, oh, it was from class, Dad. But I didn't know. My son told me later that the dude was taking them to have like street fights. So, yeah, Lil D is nice. He don't like to fight, but he will. He'll put it on you.
Speaking of family,
most people that can fight for real really don't enjoy it.
Yeah,
it's an ugly place to be.
Damon, speaking of family, how is Keenan doing? What's he got going on these days? He's such an icon, man. Like I sort of miss him being in the public eye a bit more. He's such an integral part of American culture, and we don't see him that often.
Keenan's doing good. He's plotting to take over the world. It's just like trying to the game has changed so much. You know what I mean? It's like trying to figure out this new hustle. Cats like Kevin Hart changing the game. It's like, you do everything. It used to be a time when, film actors didn't do television and television actors wouldn't do radio and so on. But now you got to be a 360 artist. You got to do it all. You got to have a YouTube channel. You got to have social media. You got to have 6 movies coming out. You got to have a TV show. You got to have comedy specials. And it's just like, we too old for all that.
Yo,
do you ever? When do I get my nap?
Do you and Keenan have you ever slowed down enough? Because you guys were going so hard at the time. You ever slow down and have a moment where you look at each other and go, damn, the greatest of all time said major pain like Damon Wayans, low down dirty even like his brother Keenan. Y'all got a double shout out from Biggie Smalls. Do you ever really process how crazy that is?
It's pretty amazing, but, in Living Color kind of, it was the place where rappers, we get rap love all day long because like the show was always rap. This is before Chappelle. This is, nobody else would put rappers on. And we had
and you all had underground rap. You guys had everybody. Pete Rock and CL Smooth.
Yeah.
Everyone would come on there and perform.
Yeah. And so, it's just like when it is when you slow it down and you look back, with gratitude. Like in Living Color, we never thought it was going to happen. It took a year before they actually put the pilot on TV because it was so, they didn't understand it. So, we was just like, look, let's just be as outrageous as we want because this thing ain't going to last. Lo and behold, 30 years later, you put it on, you still laugh.
You mentioned Men on Film earlier. Do you have a favorite skit? Maybe it wasn't even one you was in. Maybe it was. What's like your favorite in Living Color?
Always loved doing Homie the Clown because I think Homie's probably the closest to me as a person. I'm a clown, but I like to do it on my own terms. I loved everything I did. I really did. I love when I look back, I just go, wow, that was fun. There was, I had a couple stinkers, sketches that I was in that didn't like live up to my bar. There's still something funny in it, but it's not like, when you sit back and go, man, I wish I could do that again. But like, I would love to do Men On again. I would do Men On Music, talk about, the Nas took it to the next level. We put on
So good.
the cowboy hat.
Lil Nas X. Yeah, that would be lit. Yo, call David Allen Greer. Let's get the films rolling. Let's go. This will move around out here.
Yeah, we should do it. I would love to do specials. That's what we should be doing. Like, forget trying to do it on a weekly. Let's all get back together and do a couple of specials and let them know, Let them know, that we started the Super Bowl halftime show. Like we set it off. Like before us. Let me say this. Before in Living Color, it was marching bands. It was like the worst. It wasn't even entertainment. And then we came and we did, in Living Color, the Super Bowl halftime show had a huge audience. And the next year they brought Michael Jackson.
Wow.
Yo, I forgot about that.
And
it was because Fox had just started the network. They had just got the NFL, and the big show was in Living. Yo, I straight forgot.
But listen to this. It was deeper than that because Fox didn't have it.
No, you ran against it.
CBS, and we had
there you go.
Clock at the bottom to let people know when you can tune back in.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And then people tuned over to In Living Color.
Yes.
On Fox. That's right. Wow. That's that, yo.
That's ill.
Where is that special online? The Super, like the first Super, that's got to be somewhere.
I'm sure it is. And it was live. That's crazy about it. It was like the most fun we had doing In Living Color. Because nobody knew. And me and David had our little thing where we would hide stuff from each other. We would, in the rehearsal, you wouldn't even know what we was going to do. And then my goal was to make him laugh. And his goal was to make me laugh. And man, we would get in trouble all the time. But
that's amazing.
That's so good. Do you ever keep in touch with like Jim Carrey or like a J-Lo?
Yeah, I see Jim, once a year or something like that. I love him, and it's just hard because people go off and do a movie for 3 to 6 months, that day-to-day talking and they're working 14-hour days. You gotta, the love gotta be strong. You know what I mean? And you can't get your feelings hurt because I understand. So when we see each other, it's like yesterday. We don't talk about, hey man, why you didn't. No, it's just laugh. We just laugh. We got the same sense of humor. We're brothers. We fought a war together. It's all love. And that's with David and Tommy and with all of them. It's the most amazing thing when we get together. When we do, it's powerfully funny. It's powerful. It's like
Yo,
my family.
hopefully somebody watches this and because some of the having the special, the Men On special would be phenomenal. Having y'all back together again would be, I mean, incredible. I'm sure. And do you get time to see like what Nick Cannon's doing with Wildin' Out and that improv and how they're working comedy and music all into one space? I think they're doing a damn good job and have been for several years.
I love Nick. Nick is like, he's a hustler. He's of this generation. What he's doing is, it's nothing short of amazing. It's this generation's, version of In Living Color. It's less about character. It's more about just getting together and having fun and, and doing the music. I respect it. I respect him and what he's doing. I've tuned into Wildin' Out and had some great laughs.
It's funny.
I like seeing him going off the dome.
I'm kind of offended you didn't mention Anton, the homeless guy who walked around with the pickle.
Oh,
truck.
Anton.
I thought I was gonna say as we close this conversation, I wanted Anton to promote Caroline's on Broadway. But you didn't mention him, so I don't think he's available. You know what I mean? So we might just have to move on from that.
Well, here's the thing. Let me tell you, don't be so didactic in your circumcision. I'm mixing characters now.
What's the dude's name from jail? What was their name?
That's Oswald Bates. Yeah.
Oswald Bates. That's my dude right there. Oswald Bates and Tom. Damon Wayans, ladies and gentlemen, give it up one time. Caroline's on Broadway. Go look for him. It's this weekend, right?
Yes, sir. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm bringing it.
Yeah.
Y'all come on out.